Sickness is a blessing in disease. She was late when she learned she could skip the hero course for today, lay down, forget everything, and unwind. But what she had failed to remember were the two troublemakers in house arrest. So that meant she was going to be alone with these two. For however long her classmates took the time to remorse, it wasn't displeasure at first, knowing the two would probably try not to disturb her. However, they were being especially noisy today, sweeping the dorms while Katsuki's voice reached her room every so often. Tossing and turning in her unmade bed, blankets were thrown above her head, contained messy sides. The one window open to let in some midsummer breeze. Subside chit-chat from downstairs briefly entertained her earshot. She moved her head to peek, glaring at the door to see if she had locked it. She hadn't. Sitting up straight, she stared carelessly into space, coughing once in a second, hearing her sore throat. She reclenched over, feeling dizzy upon getting up, too sudden, slowly approaching the entrance. She had meant to just close it and return to sleep, but the young male's yelling startled her, and she almost fell. Sorry for Izuku to take all the harsh scolding left and right. Locking the door behind her, she made her way downstairs, greeted by the sight of both vacuuming the floor, Katsuki's hunched over form excruciating his discomfort, while Izuku's shoulders bent forward, quickly and gently cleaning the floor, unlike his buddy near him. However, occurred was not her concern. She couldn't bring herself to properly care with a soaring headache and the awful pain in her throat. Twincedly, I think that's a word. She sat at a nearby table without alerting the two boys, slightly observing the items left on the furniture. She had ordered something as well. Checked the brands on the boxes. She found none of her name on them. Maybe she confused the date for something else she ordered. Saddened by the thought of not having her video game CD by today, she sighed and adapted to simply watch the two ignore her, at least to her knowledge. They should have noticed her by now. Do you think Yen fell asleep? Izuku asked, turning over to the left, focusing on something else to distract her, sitting right behind him. Katsuki groaned. She could imagine him rolling his eyes, annoyed by the very utter of her name. Why are you so worried about her? Just mind your own business, nerd, he replied disdainfully, while the young female in question, unimpressed, decision to carry on her eavesdropping, not technically, but they have yet to catch sight of her. Izuku frowned, briefly eyeing him. She is sick today. You know that, right? Of course I do. Don't think I didn't hear her coughing just now? He glanced side-eyed at his childhood friend. He continued, You are not the only one here who knows how to observe, he retorted, Izuku mentally sighing to himself, pondering about the girl he had a crush on. Did she have her medicine? Izuku abruptly fused, instantly leaving the task at hand and turning towards the elevator. Katsuki shouting at him, Oi, where do you think you're going? To check up on Yin, he shouted before entering the elevator, completely obvious to the present of the same girl he went looking for. Like a spy on a mission, she swiftly ducked downwards when her location was about to be discovered. Thankfully, he didn't see her in the time, chippering up to catch a glimpse of what the other man was doing. His back was turned to her, but he unwillingly carried on his duty, muttering something incoherent under his breath. There's no way he doesn't know that I'm here. They both must be kidding with me, right? the girl thought. Just as hesitantly as he went, Izuku came back breathlessly, opened eyes beginning to sweat profusely. He rated, "Yin is not in her room." Katsuki frowned his eyes, struggling to believe the idiotic in front of him. "What do you mean? She could have just gone to the bathroom. Stop worrying so damn much, nerd." "No, I checked it. I checked it. It isn't locked." He responded Izuku, taking her cue to reveal herself before things got twisted. She plops herself on the seat, keeps her hand in between her thighs and kept guard. Hopefully this time they would predictably enough. "Don't tell me you saw that brand of soap she uses now. I swear, damn nerd, if you don't shut up and do this." He cuts himself off midway, peering over to the girl who inexcusably inspected them. Releasing a frustrated sigh, he glares at Izuku, who looks in quietly and approaches unprecedented as him. For a few moments, none of them uttered a word, until she awkwardly smiled and said, "Would you like to have lunch with me?" Tense in her skin, she curiously glances at the two boys, seated with her at the table. Right to her was Izuku, while Katsuki sat 2 seats left to her. They hadn't taken the individuality to say anything, to break the ice, and let some cool breeze disperse this lifting atmosphere. Right after they saw her, Izuku offered to make some soap for her while Katsuki made his own meal, spicy ramen. The timid boy's cooking wasn't that bad. Maybe her taste buds had gone blale, but it isn't her taste buds that had gone blale, but it wasn't horrible. At least better than her cheap attempts at preparing ready-made food. "So, how long had you been there?" Izuku nervously implored, momentarily gazing at her lips. She looked in wonder, speaking short after. "For about half an hour, I think," she answered with a raspy voice. Izuku shuffled, opening his green eyes wider. "That long, and we didn't notice you?" She shook her head, wordless, convinced her message. "I'm sorry for not seeing you earlier," Izuku muttered out loud, abashed. "It's okay, I thought you guys had already noticed me." Immediately after, she coughed. Covering her face, she concentrated on not coughing up on her split. I think this is supposed to be plate, but it says split. You've coughed a really bad cold. How's your sore throat now? Any better?" Izuku fretted some more, scooting closer to the girl, pressing his hands to her forehead to check if she was warm. "No, it hasn't gotten any better," she replied, watching Katsuki stare at her from the corner of her eyes. Izuku retracted his hand back, worry painted all over his face. "You might be developing a fever. Do you want to take some medicine for it?" She promptly shook her head, refusing his offer. "Okay," he said, not wanting to press her further than necessary. The next day, she woke up to the sound of something being knocked over in a room next door. She stretched her body, breaking it through in a block noise. She checked the clock. It was late afternoon. Not questioning the sound, she turned to the right. Throwing the sheets over her shoulder, she resumed her slumber, only to be cut off short by yet another loud sound that reminded her of boxes being dumped on one spot. Jolting up, she instantly got out of bed, ran to the main hall, barely able to breathe when she got there. She figured it had been one of her deliveries that she just had to pick up herself, as it was a private thing. It was a red, sexy bra she ordered, and she did not want anyone to see it. Seeing the vacant hall, she remembered Izuku had his last day of punishment yesterday, but Bakugou should be still on Operation Day to make up for his mistake. So, where is he? She scanned the place, however, showed up with no sign of him. Taking off to his room, She knocked on it, coughing heavily at the urge across her. Koski's yerked face came into view as he glanced at her with wide eyes. Was he asleep? Sorry, I didn't know you were asleep. I just to ask if you've seen my package with my name on it this past 2 days, she said, oblivious without saying a word. A few lengthy seconds passed by, and Koski begins speaking with an irritated tone. If you want, you can check inside my room, he continued. I haven't seen anything with your name on it. She raised her eyebrows, confused about what he was trying to imply, mocking her perhaps. I'm sorry, I'll go then. She turned around, preparing to leave until he decided to let her in on a little secret. Oh, that's scarlet red bra of yours was really unexpected. He coyly smiled. The girl froze in her tracks, apparently applauded by the thought of him knowing her. I have to say, it turned me on. He knows. He wouldn't live her down. End of day. Ooh.